Coming up, we'll get into a personal story between Otis and Trish Stratus, as well as one of WWE's legends' interesting words about the empty arena shows. So Otis is definitely on a hot streak right now in the WWE. Reports claim that Otis is so heavily featured and has been getting so many huge wins because he's been backed up by Vince McMahon himself. Mr. McMahon is reportedly a huge fan and supporter of Otis and is one of the main driving forces behind his push. Vince McMahon is also reportedly writing a majority of Otis's story and has a big say in his direction. So Otis has a lot going for him, and he has something that a lot of superstars don't have, and that's the support directly from Vince McMahon. Otis may have had a lot of doubters and critics, but he's definitely shutting them all up with his work lately. Otis really became a household name because of the storyline with Mandy Rose, which a majority of fans can agree was a great story. Otis has now won the girl of his dreams over and continues to win huge matches. So everything is going well for Otis in current day. However, things were much different for a younger version of Otis. This story that Otis recently revealed sounds a lot like the real-life version of his storyline crush with Mandy Rose. But here's the big reveal that Otis recently made for the first time. Otis revealed that he was a huge fan and obsessed with Trish Stratus when he was in the 5th grade. Otis definitely wasn't Trish's only fan. Trish Stratus absolutely dominated and defined the early 2000s in the WWE. Trish Stratus came into the WWE with limited knowledge on wrestling, but by the time she wrapped up her career, Trish was an absolute legend and just an iconic figure for women's wrestling and for WWE in general. Trish Stratus has made some appearances here and there and even retired multiple times on different occasions, but it looks like SummerSlam 2019 against Charlotte was Trish's final match. So younger Otis wasn't alone. WWE fans of all ages just love Trish Stratus, and this brings us to the story. Otis attended a live WWE show around the time that he was 10 or 11, so around that 2003 to 2004 window, and it turned out that Trish Stratus was booked for this live WWE event. Trish Stratus was making her entrance and headed towards the ramp, and this is when Otis decided to make his move. Otis was a shy kid, but one of his favorite wrestlers was walking down the ramp in front of him, so he was ready to risk it all. Otis charged to the ringside barricade in an attempt to reach out for Trish Stratus. However, security wasn't taking any chances. The security guards roughly speared and tackled Otis to the ground in an attempt to stop him. Why were they so aggressive to an 11-year-old boy, you may ask? Well, Otis explained that he was already 200 pounds in the 5th grade and basically looked like a man, so that's why security handled him like that. Now, of course, once they found out Otis's age and everything that happened, people started to panic and didn't want Otis's family to make a big case and big deal out of this situation. So the arena gave Otis 2 front-row tickets for the WWE show in the arena as an apology for what the security guard did to him. Here's some of the specific things that Otis had to say on the situation, courtesy of his interview with Digital Spy. So yeah, I made a sacrifice, got speared. But after that spear from the guard, we got first row tickets. So it all happened for a reason. I never told Trish that story in person. It's hard for me to talk about to her as a lady I've watched for years in the sports entertainment world. It would be a good way for me to express, without really talking to her in person. So it's interesting to note that this was the first time Otis had told anyone this story. Even Trish Stratus herself had no idea this situation even took place. This is a great time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A large percentage of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so take a second to click that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. Let's get back into it. Otis even revealed in the interview that he's still kind of starstruck with Trish Stratus and still doesn't know how to tell her about this story, let alone speak to her at all. So this was his way of indirectly telling Trish about the story. This whole thing sounds really similar to the Otis and Mandy Rose storyline as well. Otis started off with Mandy the same way that he did with Trish. He had such a huge crush on Mandy and couldn't even speak to her at first. But he quickly learned to overcome it with Mandy. A lot of fans even believe that Mandy Rose looks very similar to Trish Stratus from the early 2000s. So that's another strange coincidence there. Either way, Otis's future looks really bright right now, and he has a lot of storylines all going on around him. He has his single career, which is off to a great start at the moment. He has Mandy Rose by his side, which is definitely a great thing. And he still has his best friend, Tucker, as well. There's a lot of story to tell there, especially with Tucker. Tucker has been getting zero attention from everyone since Otis really took over. So as a result of the fact, many fans are expecting for something to happen between Otis and Tucker. It'll likely be a Tucker heel turn that we'll see down the line, since Otis clearly has all the fan attention, which will make Tucker very jealous. So we'll have to keep an eye on where Otis's story goes next, but seems to be going in the right direction for the time being. Next, we have some interesting words from The Big Show. As we know, empty wrestling shows have, unfortunately, become the new normal thing for wrestling. There's a lot of unfortunate and negative things about the empty shows, but WWE legend The Big Show recently had some positive words about the entire situation, and believes that performing in empty arena shows will only help the WWE superstars and their growth. Big Show had this to say during a recent interview. "This is going to sound bad, but you're not working for the people there. You're working for the millions of people watching at home. That's why your matches face hard camera. That's why most of your sells, your reactions, your finishers are all facing towards that hard camera, because you're working toward that crowd at home." I think a lot of times the younger generation who haven't had a lot of time to focus on that take advantage and they work the back of the ring and the sides. Where they can find the most people, because that's the easiest way to do it. Now, I think you're going to see a lot of talent really get comfortable, really improve and explode once we get back in front of a live audience again, because they'll appreciate it because it was taken away from them. That's some amazing words from The Big Show. Big Show has been in the wrestling business longer than a majority of the current roster. So if anyone knows best, it's definitely Big Show. And what he said is definitely true. The younger superstars can take this time, sort of as a form of practice to perfect their craft, so that when they're in front of a live crowd again, they'll have everything down perfectly. What are your thoughts on the Otis story with Trish Stratus and The Big Show's comments? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you won't miss any new videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.